With the launch of Forza Horizon 6,
I see it fit and only right to go back in time and have a look at Japan as a setting, particularly for racing and driving games. I mean, it is, after all, considered an automotive heaven. As far as the games that have truly set to recreate an open world in Japan, I really don't see many. I mean, in making this video and researching for it, I really couldn't find many games that actually made an open world setting for Japan. Mostly it's either courses, raceways, or tracks, some of which we will cover in this video.
I mean, sure, there's your Gran Turismos, your Need for Speeds, and others, but usually these are for like courses and racetracks rather than truly open world. That's what the focus is in this video, to go and explore titles that are really open world and allow the player to drive freely in Japan.
We'll cover all of this and more, including mods and user-made creations, user-made maps, as well as anything that has to do with Japan as being a setting for racing/driving games. Horizon 6. With the latest edition, the series is expected to continue the precedent set by its predecessors, retaining the core attraction of a vast open world to drive your favorite cars in, albeit this time in an eagerly awaited and anticipated Japan. It's tough to say why it took so long to create an open world Japan for driving/racing. Maybe there were licensing issues for cars, etc., or some other holdup. However, one thing's for certain, this certainly adds to the hype for the game, as the location is so unique. Unlike previous iterations, which were relatively prevalent across different genres, take Horizon 4 or 5 for example. We've already witnessed recreations of parts of England and North America, although Mexico for Horizon 5 and Australia for FH3 could be certain exceptions. The Gran Turismo series. This is just obvious. It's Japan written all over it. The series is, I guess, what you can call perfection, especially when it comes to nailing the basics. I mean, it is a racing simulator after all, yet it feels like it was just, I don't know, made somehow perfect. Of course, people have different opinions about the different titles. Some may like the earlier PS2 ones, while others, may be a little older, I guess, after Gran Turismo 5 or 6. But the nostalgia it has is really cool and amazing. It's really hard to beat. Especially if you owned these titles when you had a PS2 back in the day. This was the quintessential racing simulator. Amazing, amazing music, brilliant cars selection, really, really good track selection. But again, I mean, it's not exactly exploring the open world of Japan. It's just the main track, racing tracks, courseways and stuff. And, for that, it's, gets a pretty good rating, I guess. NFS, Shift 2. This game and the first NFS Shift feel like unique entries in the franchise. While not set outright in Japan in terms of exploring the cities or the countryside, it does have its fair share of custom, quintessential Japanese motorsport tracks and courses, if you will. And the thing that sets Shift 2 apart is its sort of weird immersion with a mix of arcade and realistic effects. The feeling you get of the sense of speed, you can say, when you drive really fast in Shift 2 is incredible. I mean, the camera animations, especially the POV view or the cockpit view. Probably one of the first and possibly only racing game to really nail it. it really feels like you're gonna crash on the course, on the racing track, if you don't nail the apexes or the corners. That's something that really sets it apart, as really no other racing or driving game at the time managed to really do that effectively. It would be unfair to dismiss the recent titles that have at least made an attempt to make an open world Japanese based driving racing sim. You've got Tokyo Extreme Racer, as recent as 2025. I mean, it's, yeah, sure, more so drifting and focused on those aspects, but it still has a lot of Japanese cities and cool roads and stuff to explore. Those cool mountain passes, and mostly focused on drifting, of course, but still, it's a fairly decent depiction of Japan. Similarly, you've got the legacy entries from the big franchises like NFS that deserve some credit for the initial fame of JDM and making people interested in Japanese car culture.
Going back to
The glory days of Need for Speed. I mean, you've got Underground and Shift, as already mentioned. So many other great NFS titles.
also a quick mention of Midnight Club 2 and its awesome recreation of Tokyo. Honestly, this title deserves a video on its own, and I'm sure one can find many already that reminisce about MC2 and its glory days.
Project Japan ETS2 mod. This is a really, really amazing mod. It's a map mod for ETS2. It really is an amazing recreation of some really big Japanese cities and highways, etc. And the good thing about it is, well, with especially cars. Yes, cars coming to ETS and buses coming to ETS2. You can maybe combine these two and kind of make it like an improvised, I don't know, quasi driving simulator, even a racing simulator. Especially with cars coming, they're expected to add a lot of realistic car physics. Still expect the odd crash here and there if you're using car mods currently, which I tested it out to play, for making this video. Anyways, it's a really, really cool map mod. And it just goes to show you that, modding is never, ever really going to go away. It really is awesome how a bunch of random nobodies, in their mom's basements, can come up with actual fully fledged and developed mods that can rival many complete games. Assetto Corsa mod. Now this, while not exactly a standalone game in and of itself, is an amazing, amazing creation by modders. And this is really where video game modding really, really shines out and stands apart on its own as an art form. And that's why, you need to really have a PC. Like, I'm sorry, Xbox, PS5s won't cut it. The brilliant recreation of Shituku Highway and other map projects in Assetto Corsa really, really bring out the realism aspect and fun of driving. I mean, if you can afford to spend out your whole life savings, sell your house, maybe even have to spend the night on the streets and get that sweet sim rig, I mean, if you can handle all of that, then I say go for it. Have a nice sim racing setup, with all the motion feedbacks and all of that. Really nice wheel, a nice gearbox, pedals, and all that shebang. And you can really, really get into the immersive world of actual driving or /sim racing. The map is realistic to an extent, while there might be some areas where it's a little bit over the top. The whole adding rain and rain textures to make it look realistic and all. But apart from that, it's actually quite good. You get to feel like you're actually in Japan on the highways, especially around Tokyo and stuff. So I'd say all in all, it's an amazing mod, but again, it's not a standalone game, so maybe that doesn't count. Speaking of standalone games, Obscure titles that are surprisingly good include this Fast and Furious PS2 game. Other honorable mentions not discussed in detail in this video include the likes of Night Runners and other user-created maps/mods, or even fully fledged games. Suffice it to say that most of these belong in the category of arcade/linear, or in other words, restricted to a certain area or course/track. Unlike Forza, which has an open world and slightly realistic/sim-ish feel.
Well, we've gone through Japan as a setting with racing, driving games, and the like, but who knows what the future holds, and we can only hope for the best. If there's anything to go by, the trailers and the gameplay footage, whatever little of it has been released, you can say that it at least feels hopeful as it's going to be a really, really good game. But overall, I think that it's still a really good thing to see the attention that Japan is getting as a map, as a setting, as a place where you can drive. And it's only right, considering that Japan has arguably the greatest roads and infrastructure.
Well, let me know what you think, whether Forza Horizon 6 is going to be a success or no. And if you would like to see more games explore Japan and, driving, or maybe a revival of open world. I mean, we all know that you've got amazing titles like, Yakuza, RPGs, and other genres, but, we'd like to see a little bit more focus on driving and racing, as that's what a lot of Japanese car culture is known for across the world. Anyways, let me know in the comments below, like, share, if you want, if you like it, and yeah, like it, share it, and subscribe for good luck.